So I got another book with superhero shit, but it's strictly Spider Verse.
Let's talk about Spider Verse, bro. Spider Verse is like it's a top
In
thing right now.
shambles. In
Let's.
shambles.
Why would we say in shambles? I would say Madam Web is gonna put it in shambles.
Well, the Sony little Sinister Six universe is in shambles.
Yeah, it is in
Um,
shambles. Can
this
we
is real. This is funny. What the fuck is this?
can we get some knowledge
On
from?
Madam Web?
No, can we get some knowledge? Yeah. Fuck that. Let's get knowledge on Madam Web. All right. Let's see. Everyone at this point has already known what you know.
Madam Web.
They know what the trailer is about, right?
Right.
Everyone should know. Everyone should have a great idea. If you're tuning into this video, you've watched the Madam Web trailer. You have an idea. All right. With the knowledge and the power that you have, please tell us what Madam Web is.
Mutant of the Marvel Universe. This is like comic. This is what the comics is. I don't know what they're gonna be explaining in the movie. This is just what from the comics say. She's a mutant. She's like a clairvoyant. She's a kind of like a spider telepath type of character.
Can see into the future.
Right. Um, she doesn't necessarily have spider powers. Um, at least the original Madam Web.
Doesn't have like she can't swing from a city.
Right.
Okay.
But this Madam Web that it's going to be based off of, she was a Spider Woman. So that's where it's confusing because in the movie, obviously, it's just her having all these visions and whatnot and seeing the future.
And then the girls around her were the Spider Woman, right?
Right. But she's the second Spider Woman.
Madam Web is the second Spider Woman.
Right.
Julia Carpenter is the first.
Or
Jessica Drew.
No, Jessica Drew's the first. Julie
My bad,
Carpenter's
yeah.
the second.
Not bad. I got
Julie
the
Carpenter is
two
Madam Web.
J's mixed up. So you said Jessica Drew is
So this one is who is it? Who is she again?
Who?
Damn.
Jess-
Whoever is the main character for this movie. Because Julia Carpenter is being played by the girl from
50 Shades
Sydney
of Grey.
Sweeney.
Okay, Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney is the second Madam Web, technically.
She's Julia Carpenter.
She's Julia Carpenter, which is the second Spider Woman, which means there has to be a first somewhere.
Okay.
The character that
Jessica Drew, according to the Madam Web cast, is not on here.
was her name?
It's Anya Corazon, Maddie
No,
Franklin.
that's somebody else. Dakota Johnson. So
Yeah,
Dakota,
she's Madam Web.
she's the OG Madam Web. That's that's supposed to be the old one, but from what it looks like in this movie, she's playing the version of Julia Carpenter. Like her look, like her total look looks like what Julia Carpenter, Madam Web looked like in the comics, not what the Madam Web, old Madam Web that we see in the comics and in the cartoons and video games and whatnot. So it's very confusing. Because if she's the first Madam Web, then that means Sydney Sweeney should technically be the second Madam Web. So I think what they should have done was made this movie about Sydney Sweeney's character.
So Sydney Sweeney's character has the black symbiote. Like it's like a black symbiote suit looking thing, right?
Yeah, it's not really a symbiote, but it looks like it. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Jessica Drew is what I think Dakota Johnson is kind of trying to look more like. Because Julia Carpenter has blonde hair, Jessica Drew has darker hair. If you're going
Julia Carpenter, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So she's trying to imitate like what you were saying before, Jessica Drew. Or at least that's the look because she's the first Spider Woman, right? Like you were saying.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just this whole universe is confusing to me.
That's why we have the book, and we're still confused.
Okay, I'm gonna read you word for word what I'm reading in here. Right. It says Madam Web 616. Um. All right. So it says after Julia Carpenter was unwittingly subjected to an experimental serum made from the spider venom and rare plant extracts, she gained not only powers similar to Spider-Man, but also the ability to generate unique forms of psionic webbing with her mind. How cool is that? Again, so this is talking about Julia Carpenter's Madam Web. This says the current Madam Web of 616, right?
It's okay. Okay, it's Julia Carpenter.
So, as Reality's 616's second Spider Woman, Julia earned her Spidey cred by fighting in extra dimensional wars and joining the Avengers and betraying her country and moving to Canada. To be fair, from what I've heard, she was on the right side of that one. Uh, but that was just the first chapter of Julia's story. There was a big twist ahead where she never saw coming, which is actually kind of ironic for reasons you'll understand soon. See, there was another spider lady who called herself Madam Web. She could basically see the future thanks to her strong connection to the web of life and destiny. When that lady got killed by one of the Spidey's sinister foes, she passed her precognitive powers along to Julia. Of course, these new abilities come at a cost. Julia lost her physical eyesight, uh, but she gained the ability to see so much more. Now, as the new Madam Web, Julia can catch glimpses of what comes next, giving her and all of us who know her an early warning system. Okay, so basically, I'm not gonna read the rest. It's like a little bit more, but basically, um, Julia Carpenter's version of Madam Web, is the Spider Woman for the Madam Web movie, and the Madam Web that we are being introduced to is the one who is eventually killed off and then passes her powers on to Julia.
So what we're kind of looking at here is that Dakota Johnson, right, who's going to be playing Madam Web as of this moment right now, is eventually going to get killed off, and Julia Carpenter could possibly get taken over if, all right, this is if they want to go that route, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they want to go that route, that's what could possibly happen.